2021 Ford F-350 crew cab Super Duty dual rear wheel XL. It's a long day for a long truck. This truck isn't just long, it's tall. And it has quite presence. I want to extend a huge thank you to Brightway Auto Sales here in Jacksonville, Florida, 10300 Beach Boulevard. Got a wide range of used vehicles, trucks, and cars. Thank you to Brightway Auto Sales. So, the 2021 F-350. It's big. Doesn't even fit in one frame. I have to zoom out so you can see it. Like I commented, this is a behemoth of a truck. It's tall, it's long. It's a big, big truck. So, this XL here, I believe XL is the base model for these trucks. You do get a carbonized gray metallic exterior, which it's a good color on this truck. I think it looks good. You do have a medium earth gray cloth interior. You got these 17-inch steel wheels. I believe they're Argent steel wheels. Cool thing around the back of this truck, you actually get a little step down here. So if I pull that down, it's a little stiff, but there we go. If I pull that down, got a little bed step, and then I can hop up, see the back of the truck. I was gonna say see the roof, but this bed is so long that I don't have a hope of looking at the roof. Put that back up, kind of just give it a little kick and it'll go back up. Predictably, you have a tow hitch. I'd be mighty surprised if this thing couldn't tow. Since it's such a huge truck, you see it has all the extra lights around it. This is four-wheel drive, which makes sense. Got these giant mirrors. Get your antenna going up there. Got a lot of chrome along the front here, with a nice Super Duty text. And you do get a air dam down there. I really don't think it's a bad looking truck. It certainly has a presence. It's big, but it's not disproportionately big, you know? Like it's not, it fits its size well. It's a really long bed, but the bed isn't too long that it makes the rest of the truck look funky. And I appreciate that it's not disproportionate, and I think that's good job to Ford on that. You do get a couple safety features. You got lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, which even with the blind spot mirrors you get on this truck, I imagine the blind spot monitoring is a helpful tool. But now that we've covered the outside for the most part, why don't I go ahead and take you to the interior. So, hopping on into the F-350 here. It is a large truck. It is kind of a chore to pull yourself up into this truck. It's not that bad doing it once or twice, but if you're getting in and out, it gets a little like, Anyway, what we have here are the keys. So it looks like a fob. You do have lock, unlock, you do get remote start, and you got your panic button, but you see, you got a little key flipped around the side. You press this button and the key flips out. Because as you probably saw, this doesn't have a push button, this has an actual turn key. So go ahead, stick that in there. As was made apparent a few seconds ago, this truck vibrates a lot when it starts. And it still does vibrate even after it's been turned on. So it's a diesel truck. That's kind of a characteristic of a diesel truck. But that doesn't mean it's not a decently comfortable truck. So sitting in here, I have a very decent, very high view of what's around me. The windshield here, I can see over the hood just fine. I can see out my windows. My mirrors are fine. Like, visibility isn't bad in this truck. Now, when you're backing up, looking back over the bed, that does pose a couple more issues, which, yeah, to be expected. It is a very long bed. You do get a backup camera, which is helpful. So pull the column shifter down. I do get a backup camera. That helps me a ton when trying to back up. It's a good truck. I can see very well around me. So go ahead, put it back into park there. And now let's go ahead. I'll show you a couple of the features you get in this truck and what those look like. So, and show you this door panel over here. So popping open this door, you see you do get a decent looking door. Got your window controls, rear window lockout, mirror controls, door locks. You do got kind of a fun handle there. Got an air vent off to the left. You got your headlight controls, your bed light, gauge cluster dimmers. Here you got your parking brake actually. So if I push this down, that engages the parking brake. But to release it, put my foot on the brake and pull that. It's kind of a interesting parking brake, but there's no center console, so that kind of explains why that is. Looking at the steering wheel itself, it's a good steering wheel. I like the way it looks. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the vinyl. I feel like that's something you could do without, but it is a bit hard to turn. I mean, obviously, I'm stationary in a big truck. That's kind of to be expected. But other than that, yeah, it's good. I do have some controls for my gauge cluster, cruise controls, and I have volume controls and skip track off to the right. Here's my mode. I can switch between AM, FM, Sirius XM. Actually, I don't know if this truck has Sirius XM, but you get the idea. Actually, we can find out right here. It does. Okay, so yeah, switch between AM, FM, Sirius XM, all that jazz. We got our phone controls, voice command, and a volume mute. So now let me go ahead and talk about the gauge cluster itself here. Off to the left, you have a tachometer. Across the top, you got a couple gauges showing engine temperature, oil temperature, your fuel, and a turbo gauge. You got a speedometer off to the right, and which gear I'm in down here. So reverse, neutral, drive. And an interesting thing about when I'm in drive, this comes up on the sides. So this has a 10-speed transmission, but maybe I'm going up a hill or something. I don't want it to go above a certain gear. If I press the minus that's on the column shifter here, it'll go down. So if I start driving, it'll only go up to 4th gear, 2nd, 1st, or I could just have it go through all 10. Then if I put it in manual mode, I can shift up and down like that. And then we have a screen in the middle with the Ford saying, "Built Ford Tough." So, using the buttons off to the left of the steering wheel that I showed you earlier, I can scroll through this screen and see a couple different things. I can see This is the display mode, so I can see my distance till empty, till I run out of fuel, tire pressure monitoring. And because it's a dually, you got 2 there, which is kind of cool. You got a digital speedometer, your engine hours, idle hours, and your oil temperature, transmission temperature. And then you have all your maintenance monitoring and that stuff there. I got a tripometer. Got a towing screen, so I can see my trailer status, towing options, and then like a checklist. Got my off-road screen. I can see my pitch and roll. Sorry for the glare. That helps a little. You got settings, so you go into advanced settings. I can adjust. So this also has cross traffic alerts, so I can turn those on and off. And then I can go through my vehicle settings, display setup. I can do more. I can go through all the settings within there. So that's about it for that screen. Nothing too fancy. Get your horn. Kind of a wimpy horn for how massive of the truck this is. But anyway, going up here, I don't get a mirror, but it does swing out and it does slide, which is nice. And you got a little card clip if you need it. You got a couple lights up here. You got all your auxiliary switches. You got sunglasses holder up here. There you go. And then you got like 45 different controls for the lights. So I can turn these 2 on, and then if I press this one, it turns them off. Turn it on, turn it off, or I could just turn it on, turn it off. I don't really know the purpose of this off button. It doesn't really affect anything. And then this is the door light control, so if I don't want the lights to come on when I open the door, I press that and it won't. One last thing I want to talk about on this top here is I've actually got a rear window that will slide open. So that's pretty cool. I got a really comically small rear view mirror. That's kind of interesting. It's very tiny. I feel like something bigger, but then again, maybe if it was bigger, it would block too much of the windshield. So there's that. We got a little storage tray up here, and then we got a center screen. So what we have here, we have the center screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through some of the stuff you can do in here. You got your, before I do that, there's a couple buttons up here. Got my diesel exhaust brake, my traction control, my hazard switch, and I have my hill descent control. But in here I got my audio screen, which you're seeing right now. And then I've got, this is the home page. So I got the media, the compass, I can connect a phone. Like I said, the audio screen. I'll go ahead and give you a quick listen to the sound system. So it's not a bad sound system. If you want to adjust the sound system, I can go here, I can go to settings and click sound, and then I can adjust the bass, treble, mid-range, all the other stuff. Speed compensated volume, which is actually an interesting thing. As I accelerate onto the interstate, the audio system will turn up to sort of prevent the audio from being drowned out by road noise. But yeah, then you got your phone, and then your mobile apps if you have a phone connected, and then other settings. You got clock, you got your other radio settings, general settings, you have vehicle settings, display settings, and actually if I'm in here I can put it on a calm screen, just have the time and date up, which is kind of cool. To get rid of that, you just swipe up. So that's kind of a basic overview of the screen there. Like I said, this is your volume control. You can turn it, you can turn the system off by pressing that. You got your presets here, skip track, or like scroll through your different stations. You can also scroll through stations using this. If I press in, nothing happens. It's not a button. Then here I can switch between Sirius XM, AM, and FM. I got my four-wheel drive control. I can go from two-wheel high to four-wheel low. I got my trailer brake controller down there. So looking down below here, I've got my climate controls. Got fan speed here. I can turn the system on and off, rear defroster, front defroster, where I want the air to blow, recirculating air, and then I can turn this off just to have the fans blowing. Here I got my temperature control. If I push it all the way down to this side, it'll turn on the max AC, just adjust it to change that. But then I can scroll through all my different temperature settings there. And I can if I turn all the way that side, it turns on the max defroster. Down below here, I have USB-A, USB-C, and a 12-volt outlet. I also have a little storage cubby down there. Just look at the pedals. And one quick thing I wanted to show you that I kind of skipped over is your turn signal stalk, your blinker stalk, and your wiper controls you twist. High beams, pretty standard there. So let's go ahead and hop around into the back seat now. Does say Super Duty down on the side there. You do have manual seats. So hopping around into the back seat here. Got your nice door, window control, your funky handle again. You got the text saying Super Duty along the floor, which is cool. So this actually will fold down. You got 2 cup holders, a little phone tray. Then you actually have a 12-volt outlet down below here. Other than that, I got plenty of legroom back here. Not a bad back seat, if I might say. I'll go ahead and show you what headroom and legroom does look like. As you can see here, headroom isn't an issue at all. I have plenty of headroom and also plenty of legroom, as you can see down here. If I shut the door, I have a decent enough armrest, and it's not a bad back seat at all. I do get a grab handle to get in and out right here. Let's go ahead and talk fuel economy for a second. If I open this up, you see it says diesel, because this is a diesel truck. Gets about 12.2 miles per gallon. So that's pretty much all there is to that. Opening up the bed here, it does just fall open, so you have to kind of moderate that. This bed does have a tonneau cover on it, so you can't really see the full thing, but I'll give you a look down in here. You got your bed liner, you got outlets in here, you got your bed lights. So it's not a bad cargo space at all. It's actually quite giant. Got your exhaust there, mud flaps. One thing I want to show you about these seats though, is I can pull them up like that. Same with this side. You got a ton of storage across the floor now. Put them down, just pull this tab, pull the seat down. The tab's on the other side, so I'll have to hop over and do that later. Got your glove compartments, you got storage up there, storage down here. Sun visor up here. This one actually does get a mirror, however, it's not covered ever. And a pretty similar door to the rest of the doors. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the engine. To open up the engine bay, you're going to want to come around here and pull this tab. Then you're going to want to come around the front, because this isn't a rear engine vehicle. And there's a little tab in here. You're going to want to pull it to the left, and then you can see this giant engine. 6.7 liter turbo V8. Puts out 475 horsepower, and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. One thing I also noticed is when you turn the truck off, it tells you to check the rear seats, which is kind of cool. And if I want it to stop, I can just press close and it will. But that's just about it for the 2021 Ford F-350 Super Duty Crew Cab Dual Rear Wheel XL. I want to again thank Brightway Auto Sales for allowing me to come out here and film today. And I want to thank you guys for sticking around and watching. I hope you enjoyed this new format of video. Leave a comment and let me know if you have any modifications or ways I can make these videos better. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.